2 hours before midnight, starting back with a suppressed exclamation of surprise on her lips, Lucille Tucker stared in mystification and amazement. What was this ghost-like apparition that had appeared at the entrance to the long, dark passageway? A young woman's face, a face of beauty and refinement, surrounded by a perfect circle of white. In the almost complete darkness of the place, that was all Lucille could see. In such a place for such a face, the far corner of the third floor of one of the largest department stores in the world. At that very moment, from somewhere out of the darkness, came the slow, deep, humming notes of a great clock telling off the hour of 10. 2 hours before midnight. And she, Lucille, was for a moment alone, or at least up to this moment she had thought herself alone. What was she to make of the face? True, it was on the level with the top of the wrapper's desk. That at least was encouraging. That white is a fox skin, the collar to some dark garment that blends completely with the shadows, Lucille told herself reassuringly. At that moment, a startling question sent her shrinking farther into the shadows. If she's a real person and not a specter, what is she doing here? Here, of all places, at the hour of 10.
That was puzzling. What had this lady been doing in that narrow passage? She could not be a member of the working force of the store. No salesperson would come to work in such a superb garment as this person wore.
Although Lucille had been employed in the book department for but 10 days. She had seen all those who worked here, and was certain enough that no such remarkably beautiful face could have escaped her notice. She might be anything, Lucille told herself. A thief, a shoplifter. Perhaps she stole that very cape or whatever it is she wears, perhaps. Suddenly, her heart gave a leap. Footsteps were approaching. The next instant, she saw a second face appear in the narrow line of light, which the street lights cast through the window. Laurie Seymour, she breathed. Laurie was the new man in the department. He had been working at the boys' and girls' books for only 3 days, yet Lucille liked him tremendously. He was so friendly, even-tempered, and different, and he seemed a trifle mysterious. Mysterious, she mused. Perhaps here's the mystery answered. It certainly did seem so, for after the apparition in white had whispered a word or two. Laurie looked at her strangely for a second, drew from his pocket a slip of paper, and handing it to her quickly vanished into the shadows. The next instant, the apparition vanished too. Again Lucille found herself alone in the far corner of the Mammoth store, surrounded by darkness. Perhaps you have been wondering what Lucille and Laurie were doing in the great store at this hour. Since the doors are closed at 6 o'clock, you have no doubt thought of the entire place as being shrouded in darkness and utterly deserted. These were the days of the great rush of sales that comes before Christmas.